And we're back. And joining me once again is Molten. We've got
Hello,
the
hello.
PvP expertise team now, so we
What,
can
where?
actually have a matchup that we know. Oh, I think they just left. It's fine. We'll fill in.
Oh, okay.
We're the other guys. We'll make
We'll
it.
manage.
We'll
We'll
make it
manage.
work. Right, so we're just gonna jump in here. We've got a pretty high level match here. It's the highest level PvP. I'm assuming that we'll see all tournament really. We've got RosscO and highest
Okay.
level in terms
Big
of
words. Big words.
MMR, not in terms of spiritual
Yeah,
level,
of course.
not in terms of spiritual level,
Not in terms of IQ.
not in terms of IQ. No, the Molten IQ is on a whole other plane of existence, so it can't be compared. But yeah, we've got RosscO here versus Zain, and we're gonna jump right into the game. Both these guys are Grandmaster level Protoss players, so love to see this. I haven't seen too many games of RosscO against Zain. I'm not really sure what RosscO's style is.
No, I haven't either. RosscO was very well known for doing a robo opening with a depth and a prism. I assume he's not doing that anymore, but we'll have to find out. In the southeast, in the green trunks playing Protoss, it's Zain.
Mr. Sentryman himself. And the top left-hand corner, his opponent hailing from Scotland, he is RosscO.
So this is a fight for first place in Group B. Both players have won all their matches so far, I believe.
Already have a little bit of a stylistic difference. This map obviously is a PvP map. You have the option to go for a sort of one-gate expand because of this ramp here. RosscO not opting to do that, so he's going to be in a little bit of an aggressive stance to start off with, I would assume, given that Zain is going to try to get away with an economic opener early on.
Yeah, so this is interesting. On the natural ramp maps, it is quite common to do this one-gate opening, and if you do a two-gate opening against a one-gate opening, it can be very hard to get back in the game economically.
Yeah, you have to rely on doing some sort of proxy Stargate, or, I mean, you can do an all-in, but it's sort of been agreed upon as the meta that if you're on a map with this ramp, you should be able to reliably hold the one gate, assuming you have decent scouting. So that's why Zain opts to go for it. RosscO is going to have his probe patrol there to just make sure that Zain doesn't get his expansion down for free. We might see him drop a pylon or something there just to be as annoying as possible. But
Whoa.
already RosscO going for a little bit of a dive there on
frisky.
Zain's probe. That's not something you tend to see at the highest level. So the pylon does go down. We'll have to see if he decides to go for a cybernetics core block there as well. Sometimes it gets silly with just building after building being dropped down in the natural in PvP because RosscO doesn't want Zain to get away with an expansion without having to invest any other infrastructure.
A hidden pylon in the main base of Zain. Does he have any idea?
And this can is a small thing, and it seems really dumb. And I think if you lose to this sort of thing as a diamond player, you'd probably say something like, "This would never work at a higher level." But obviously, this is not the case. I've seen Zain go for one of these pylons in the main this tournament, and now we're seeing RosscO go for it as well. And he's going to open with the double adept, try and do some pressure up the ramp. I don't think this will catch Zain out. I'm assuming he'll have a full wall by the time this becomes relevant.
Stargate goes down to complete the full wall for Zain there. And yeah, all it takes is for two adepts to be warped in at this pylon, and that could do game-ending damage, honestly, in PvP.
Zain has to be careful. He wants to scout with this. He realizes it could be a proxy Stargate, so you see he's rallied this out, but he might actually end up on the wrong side. Looks like he knows better than I do, and he ends up getting the adept out on the right side. So a couple adepts are going to come out from RosscO. It'd be nice if he could catch this adept, but I don't think he will. So he's just going to knock on the front door, force Zain to commit at least something to the front to deal with these pesky mosquitoes here. But so far, Zain is looking like he is completely unaware of the existence of this, and as Warp Gate finishes in 30 seconds or so, he's going to be a little bit more annoying. But I think RosscO is just going to clear up his natural and hope to equalize the economy by just warping in a couple of depths here.
Oracle on the way for Zain. No tech yet for RosscO. Seems to be content just building a few units, and a depth trade's in here for Zain, and this could get serious probe damage. RosscO with no battery here, no units. And this is really not good for RosscO.
Yeah, RosscO would be happy to have done a little bit of damage, but actually so far we see the economic damage is being done by Zain, and there's no potential here for counter damage apart from this pylon. So all of RosscO's eggs at this point are in this basket. Yes, he does have a couple sentries out, and now he's taking his natural, but see, the natural from Zain is just about finishing by the
Zain
time...
scouts the pylon. Just
the
in the nick of time.
And the two adepts
Oh,
do
he's gonna
start
get
warping
two adepts
in,
now.
but yeah, this is actually really frustrating
That's
for
really
RosscO.
good for Zain. What?
Yeah.
GG?
I was gonna say that is pretty much GG, right? He was behind an entire expansion. He had lost a bunch of workers. He
Yeah.
didn't have any great tech. It's just pretty much, RosscO had a book that he was writing, and then Zain basically had an advanced copy of it,
Mm.
and chucked it in the dumpster and lit it on fire. So unfortunately, that's not going to go to
I mean,
RosscO.
that's got to go down as one of the worst games we've ever cast.
It was a little bit anticlimactic,
It
I got to
was.
tell you. It was
Mm.
basically Zain saying, "I'm going to open up with a 1 gate," and RosscO going, "Okay, maybe I'll get a pylon in your base."
Yeah. So I'll be interested to see now what RosscO does in the next games. Is he going to continue to open with 2 gates, or what's the next map? So if it's another ramp map, such as Pride of Altaris, he might not. He might not want to open with 2 gate after how that first game went.
Yeah, and I think the thing to remember here is that it shouldn't be that surprising if the games look a bit one-sided. So even though this is a relatively high-level PvP, there is a pretty big MMR gap between these players.
Yeah.
Even though they are both Grandmaster level players, I think Zain is quite a bit higher. So we can see that he's just got a little bit more polish in the ways he's planned that 1 gate out, and it looks like it's going to pay off for him.
For sure. Okay, so the next map is Glittering Ashes, so it's not a natural ramp map. So probably won't be seeing a 1 gate expand from Zain, at least not on the low ground this time.
Yeah, you never know. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. I'm going to make a prediction here as a possibility. Actually, yeah, I'll go for it. Why not? I think Zain could potentially do a proxy robo here. I don't see why he would, I guess, now that I think about it, being that he's favored. It's a little bit risky in the end to do something cheesy like that if you are comfortable. All right, in the top right-hand corner, we do have, he's up 1-0 in this series currently. He is Zain.
And in the southwest of Glittering Ashes, in the blue, playing Protoss for Red Dragons, it's RosscO. Straight out of Scotland.
Straight out of the Dragons.
Where they have different notes to England. That's what I learnt today from overhearing RosscO.
They have different notes.
Yeah, like banknotes. They have different banknotes.
Oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me. They're Scotland. I mean, I probably shouldn't weigh in on this at all whatsoever as a foreigner, but they like to assert their independence, right? They have the Royal Bank of Scotland.
Yeah, it makes sense now I think about it, but I just never thought of it. And it is going to be a 2-gate opening, 2 gas for both players. Let's see if RosscO opts to go for Adepts again.
Yeah, and this is going to be a little bit more of a standard by-the-book PvP, I think. I have to see. I mean, you do get a lot of build variety in PvP, which is one of the saving graces of this matchup. A lot of players will complain about it feeling a little bit coin flippy with the build choices, a little bit rock, paper, scissors. But I think it's probably in the best state now that it's been in a very long time.
And I've seen RosscO do this before. He's going to make a pylon at his third base here, and I think he's going to put a Stargate there eventually.
Yeah,
he might just be hiding it, but I definitely trying to get into the brain of Zain here, just worrying Zain that something's out on the map.
Yeah, and unfortunately Zain did see the trajectory of that probe coming from that direction at the timing that you would have expected it. So I think Zain's probably good enough to realize that there's probably, if there's a proxy, it's probably over there. Maybe I'm giving him a lot of credit, but it would be pretty heartbreaking if this early in the game Zain were to spot that proxy.
Stalker Sentry for RosscO, so this is the most safe opening. It gives you a lot of scouting by getting the sentries out, using those hallucinations. You're never really going to be in the dark. Whereas we see Zain going for 2 Stalkers.
And as predicted, he does just spot it immediately. He's going to realize it's just a fake proxy. Zain has opted to go for the double stalker opening here just to make sure that he's safe in case there is a proxy. But now that he's seen this, he'll probably just make a sentry of his own and chill out. And actually, he's going to be aggressive here with the 4 stalkers.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be a 6 stalker opening and he's just going to try to lay it on thick. There's
actually
no pylon down here for RosscO, so he's not going to be able to have a battery on the low ground.
Yeah, which is actually potentially a really big deal. Because not only that, but he didn't put his first pylon in a position where he could have dropped a battery on the low ground. So yeah, that's actually kind of annoying. But Zain does end up dropping his own natural, but he is still making stalkers at home. And so he is going to have enough stalkers to pretty much bully RosscO if he wants. At very least, he'll kill this pylon.
Yeah, it's kind of a free pylon for Zain, which is really nice. You really don't want to be building another pylon now as RosscO. There's 100 minerals that can be spent elsewhere.
But no tech from either player just yet.
Yeah.
It's just going to be sort of meaty gateway units. And now Zain realizing, okay, I actually am going to need some scouting at some point. So now that I've got a few stalkers out, a couple of hallucinated stalkers from RosscO. This
Ooh.
is kind of adorable.
That is adorable.
But Zane's still not going to be deterred by it. He's just going to poke him with 4 stalkers. And there's only 2 sentries, 2 stalkers with no battery. But I think now that the sentry and stalker are joining, this is actually a little dangerous from Zain. If he gets a little bit too close to this choke point, he could be force fielded off. So he's got to be very careful with that. But yeah, just investing in the 4 stalkers early to go and deny that pylon, which, I mean, it's not the biggest of deals, but it's a little bit annoying. And RosscO, for his part, warping into Adepts at yet another proxy pylon. If Zain does catch this out, it's going to be yet another pylon down, which is going to feel a little bit
That's really
bad.
fortunate for Zain that his stalkers just happened to go past the Adepts at that time. It is going to be a robo first for RosscO. I said he likes doing this, so I'm expecting to see a prism and some Adepts from him.
Yeah, and these Adepts are going to get 1 kill, I think. Nothing too much more than that. Unfortunately, Zain wasting a force field there that he probably didn't need to, but in the end of the day, he is losing basically nothing to this. So overall, looking pretty good. RosscO is up, 8 workers at this
8
point.
workers is huge, but the blink is so important here because blink shuts down this prism play so hard. And with no Twilight Council for RosscO, it's going to be a while till he has a scary army.
Yeah, in a very, very long game, it has potential here for RosscO to be ahead. He's got faster upgrades. You can see him really investing in this. He's getting upgrades. He's getting he's got more workers. But I think Zain is just going to bully him here. He's got a lot of stalkers. He's going to have blink. He's got the map control, and he's not going to allow him to get away with much.
2 more gates going down and Zain looking to apply some pressure here. He's going to have blink soon. Actually targets the hallucination.
Yeah, I think
a short time.
This was a massive misstep actually from Zain. Now, I love this from RosscO. He's still just making those hallucinations. I think we saw 1 volley get wasted on this. So Zain is not really having a third base of his own. He's not making workers. He is just making lots of units off of 4 gates here. So uncharacteristically from Zain, it doesn't seem like he's got a real clear plan here.
Actually just going to send it with blink stalkers of 31 workers, it looks like. And I'm loving this spot for RosscO, I must say. He's going to lose 2 Adepts here. They'll get in. They won't see too much. They will see blink has finished.
Yeah, and RosscO is going for a third base
It's not
here.
going to happen, but that's okay.
He'll realize, right? He
doesn't see them.
He doesn't actually have vision. It's literally right on the edge.
Oh, he must see it now. No? Oh, the probe. Oh my god, it's so close. Wow, that's actually really annoying. Because if he sees that, he can just lay down another couple batteries, probably a cannon as well.
There's a lot of stalkers here, and there's no battery here just yet.
No. He sees it now. He sees it now.
Yeah, and
the
RosscO
prism
just
goes down immediately, but there are 2 Immortals. No
yeah,
batteries
there's
here.
2 Immortals, but I think at very least this expansion's going down.
I actually think Zain could blink forward on top of the Immortals if he's feeling it.
Yeah, I think Zain is just opting. He's realized he's in a little bit of a tricky spot, but he is down like 20 workers here. He needs
Zain's
to do more.
all in. Like he is so committed to this.
He needs to do a lot here. I think he
and
might
I think
have had
he
the
can.
chance.
I think he can just blink on this army. Snipe 2 Immortals. The Immortals cannot go that far out. They're so far away from the battery. Wow, I'm so shocked that Zain doesn't take that fight.
Yeah.
I'm so sure if he blinks in, he can just win the game.
Very uncharacteristic from Zain to not be very decisive in that blink. And RosscO's just going to pop down his base. He knows. I mean, RosscO doesn't realize how far ahead he is, right?
Oh, definitely not.
With these Adepts, well, maybe he does now. These Adepts are just absolutely running havoc on this. So Zain is going to once again pop on and get this third base canceled. But RosscO
isn't enough.
RosscO doesn't actually need to do much here. He's just going to keep adding Immortals. He's adding his charges +2 now.
I don't like how far out RosscO is going. It's allowing Zain to pick off units with blink. I think he should just stay nearer the batteries. He has a 4th Immortal on the way.
Yeah, and he's actually starting to feed. So those 2 Adepts that were being really annoying back home, he's pulled them back with an F2 move, or not sure why, but I think he just realizes he needs to hold on at this point. But Zain's got a nice little surround coming from multiple angles.
That's a lot of stalkers, another hallucination.
If he just blinks on top of these Immortals, he'd be in good shape. He doesn't seem to quite have the focus fire yet. So many stalkers going down. There's finally the blink, but a little bit of indecision there. I think RosscO's got this.
Yeah, RosscO cleaning this up with ease, and it's going to be 1-1 here as RosscO takes a map off Zain. The second map Zain has dropped today.
Yeah, Zain doesn't know he's dead yet. There he goes. There he goes.
An impressive defense from RosscO, although dare I say a little bit of a weird build from coming out from Zain.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going through his mind. He had a really good start to that game. He was being quite aggressive with those 4 stalkers. He killed the pylon. He had better tech. He sort of knew what RosscO was doing, and then he just cut workers and went for a proxy gate attack, and then he didn't commit to the attack.
Yeah, I really would love to restart that game from replay and see if you just blink forward onto those 2 immortals. If you just win the game, I really feel like Zain had it there.
Although hindsight is 2020, and it's easy for us as casters to see with all the knowledge we have that there's no way Zain can come back there.
Of course.
Again, reminding viewers that as most of you are probably Starcraft players, you're very well aware, but you don't know at the moment. You don't really know if there's a hallucinated immortal there, whether or not you would win that fight with the blink and so on. So a little bit of bluffing there going on. So RosscO does manage to
use of hallucinations in that game was something quite unique, not something you see every day. And we're going to Berlingrad for map number 3. We're in the southeast, in the green, playing Protoss. It's Zain.
And his opponent in the top left-hand corner, he is RosscO. RosscO P. Coltrane. Oh, okay, so already a variation coming out from Zain with the pylon on the ramp here. So this will allow him to build a battery on the low ground. This could indicate we're going to see a proxy from Zain. RosscO not opting for it.
Why do you think it's going to be a proxy from Zain?
So when you go for the pylon at the top of the ramp, he's actually almost went for a forge.
Baited us.
Going for this position pylon allows you to get a battery on the low ground, which means that you're not at a disadvantage.
So you don't need a pylon down there.
Exactly. So because even though you're proxying a pylon, you're still able to take your natural. I learned that from Zain.
Zain. Wow. What a smart individual.
It does help me to cast his games, we'll say, because I actually have a little bit of an understanding of a few things.
You've changed the score to RosscO to 4-1. I don't know
that's my inaccurate keyboard hand, unfortunately. All right, so 2-gate from both players, pretty standard. We don't actually see a proxy pylon from Zain, so it's probably incorrect in my prediction there. Maybe this is just the way he prefers to wall off on this map. A little bit of a later core there from RosscO, but yeah, nothing major. It's going to be a mirror build from each player, as we normally see in PvP. We'll have to see when the builds actually do diverge.
Indeed. We saw RosscO go for pretty immortal-based composition. He seems to really favor the robo compositions in this matchup, as opposed to just going straight Twilight Blink, which is more standard.
Yeah, it puts you in a little bit of an awkward position because
it really does.
You can never really move out. You have to worry about the blinking into your main. Whenever I play Robo against someone playing Blink, I feel like a Terran. Do you know what I mean? You're like,
you poor thing.
Yeah, I know. And I start to cry a little bit. Oh. But I feel...
And that's just the whining.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, you kind of just feel awkward, right? Instead of siege tanks, you've got immortals.
Yeah.
You have that lack of mobility. You've kind of got to stay in your base, and so you kind of I don't know. I always feel like you either have to build up for a 2-base all in, or you have to take a later third, and it just doesn't really feel very good.
But it's also awkward for your opponents. If you are just playing standard into that blink, you've got to be constantly concerned about the threat of those immortals, and if an immortal push comes across the map, it can be really hard to hold with just stalkers.
Yeah, you need to get that third up running really quickly and make sure that you get lots of units because you're relying on raw power.
That's a forward proxy by Zain, not far away from RosscO's base at all. It looks like Zain's going to be sending it off one base here.
Yeah, so he's actually got 3 gates in the main.
Is this just a 4-gate? A flat-out 4-gate?
I suspect that Zain maybe has a feeling that RosscO doesn't have a safe a build as he probably should. This battery is finishing at some point, but Zain is going to get the sentry in the end, and some nice micro there. I think you're happy trading a stalker for a sentry. But
I think you are, especially when you use the energy, because now hallucination can't come out and see there's no expansion for Zain.
Yeah, so RosscO doesn't really have a whole lot of information.
That being said, if RosscO goes straight for an immortal here, I think he's in a brilliant position to defend this. He's got a really fast robo on the way.
Oh, Zain's got to be so careful here with this. He doesn't want to lose that, and he does.
Losing another unit.
Yeah, uncharacteristically sloppy there from Zain. So he does have the 3 gates now. So
he's an immortal on the way. I think Zain's in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, as soon as that immortal gets out, it's just going to be really, really hard for him to do much of anything. He hasn't dropped an expansion yet. He might actually lose another Stalker here.
RosscO does need to make another battery ASAP though. This one's out of energy now. And he could be in trouble as 7 Stalkers of Zain are
Oh,
on
the
the
Immortal
top.
is so close to finishing,
Yeah.
but it's not down the ramp just yet, and Zain is smelling blood here. I think he's got to realize how tenuous of a position this is for him. As soon as that Immortal comes down the ramp, I think RosscO is going to
Zain
be in
needs to
great shape.
expand. I think he should just give up on this as soon as he sees the Immortal. And he does expand to his natural base. Now, a nice force field goes down, grab 1 Stalker.
Yeah.
But a 1-for-1 trade in the end.
Ultimately, Zain is going to keep warping in units, but you see the tech difference between these players, right? We've got the Robo with already Immortal coming out, a second Immortal soon, and Zain is still just investing into these basic gateway units. There's no Forge. He's getting a Robo of his own, but even if that Robo finishes, he's still going to be just slightly behind.
Oh my god, Zain, he's just attacking into battery overcharge. He's losing everything here.
Yeah.
Is RosscO about to upset the top Protoss here at Epic Land?
I honestly think if RosscO just goes across the map right now, he wins.
Oh, definitely. But how do you ever make that decision?
Yeah.
Like, you have no scouting the entire game. It seems if it would feel super risky, right? But I agree with you. I think he would just win. Zain go perhaps a little bit of desperation here, going for a robotic spare.
And I like this from Zain. He's probably going to drop a proxy Nexus here, realizing that he's in really bad shape.
Yeah.
His mass sentry brain is going to come out, and he's going to go, you know what? I need something to get myself back in this game, and maybe RosscO will fall for it.
Giga Chad Zain IQ once again, but is it going to work? RosscO is in a very good position in this game, and he's moving out now. He's going to scout this pylon, will intercept these 2 warping in the depths, and it's just going better and better for RosscO. How does Zain ever hold this?
Yeah, so he's going to have to drop a whole bunch of batteries here. He's not, I mean, he is
Wow,
going to drop
I can't believe he expands.
Yeah, this is a massive brain play here. I think RosscO at this point...
And he's building an observer? Okay, he cancelled it and starts a disruptor. He needs to realize how huge this army is of RosscO. He has absolutely no chance of defending this.
Oops.
I think RosscO is going to take it. Good force fields go down, will slow it down. A hallucinated prism.
No, I just don't see a way. Yeah, he's just gonna sack this base.
Yeah.
Realizing that actually there's no way, and he is going for disruptors. So this is the way.
Depths in the main.
I completely missed that. That was the warp prism warping in the depth in the main, and that's going to mean that RosscO now knows about the disruptors. So that cheeky surprise hit.
Oh, it's big.
Yeah,
but
unfortunately.
Is it big enough? There's still 2 Immortals and a prism here. A big warp in from RosscO, and I think he's about to take out Zain. I don't believe it. What a result this is for the Scottish Protoss player. He will top Group B if he can close this game out. The Immortals come into the main. Force field goes down, but there's just nothing to stop these 2 Immortals apart from this 1 disruptor. Can RosscO pick him up?
And not the disruptor hit that we need, unfortunately.
Another disruptor is going to pop. But he needs the godliest hits of all time just to stay alive.
I mean, that's a hit. That's a hit, but it's still just, I don't think it's enough.
So much Protoss on the dance floor, and GG, RosscO takes it. 2-1 against Zain. Wow, what a result for Mr. Red Dragons RosscO.
Now, Molten, you know how much I love Zain. Okay, you know we're mates, and so everything I say with love. Zain did not play the games he should have played in that series.
That was not Zain's best performance.
That was not his best performance.
But we have to give a little bit of credit to RosscO as well. He played pretty solid.
RosscO played solid. RosscO basically, he did game 1, and I was making excuses. I was going, oh, he's lower MMR. I feel silly now because actually, RosscO he basically just played solid from then on out, and then Zain just did a couple of things. I think my headline for that aggression from Zain was indecisive. If you're going to attack with that big ball of stalkers early on and just kill them, I think you want to build up the stalkers and then you want to go in and kill them, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to trickle stalkers. And then there was honestly really uncharacteristically miss micro from Zain. Now I know that when I go talk to him right now, he's going to say something happened.
Oh, I'm sure
like
he has
something happened, right? Like, oh, my mouse disconnected. Like, I guarantee something will have happened because I'm not meaning that sarcastically. I think genuinely that's just not the micro I almost ever see from him.
I mean, it's been a long day. It's 8 p.m. here. We've been playing games since 12. That was his 7th series of the day. maybe we can cut him some slack.
I think we can. And honestly, credit to RosscO. He's looking really, really scary in those PvPs. You know, pulling out all the stops in that, playing really solid, realizing the position that he's in, and capitalizing on it against a player who's, you know, favored against him. So well done to RosscO. I really enjoyed that series.
I really enjoyed that.
quite,
After the first game, I was like, I don't know,
Yeah.
I might be out of here in 5 minutes. But turned out it was a very good series. And do we have anything coming up on the mainstream for the rest of today? Or was that it?
You know what? I have to ask the boss about what the next steps will be because this was the last scheduled scheduled game that we had for today. So there may be another show match or two coming up. Maybe a couple of players who didn't get enough screen time want to have their games shown. So there potentially could be, but we will get Bradley to come over and confirm or deny what's going to happen in the future because that's above my head. That's above my pay grade, unfortunately.
That is definitely above our pay grade. This is true.
All right, so thank you very much for watching these games, guys. We're going to go to a quick little break, and there may be 1 or 2 series coming up. We will confirm that very shortly, but we'll be back in a little bit.
See ya.